This is the story of how I died. Actually, it's not really my story. It's the story of 1,000 players split between two islands. It's the story of a town called Nevermore. And it's the story of the people who lived. But to truly understand, we're going to have to go back before the beginning. Upon getting the message that I had been accepted into Ish's event, I immediately started looking for a nation to join. My friend Lampere
I'm the dead weight.
was a member of the nation of Nevermore, who based their entire theme on...
I walk a lonely road.
Technically, the theme was Gothic, which basically means they wanted to rip off Bloodborne. But that was perfect for me, because my main goal for this event was to build this. I called it the Queen's Garden, based on the location of the same name from the game Hollow Knight, and it fit right into Nevermore's aesthetic. So, since it had both many of my friends as well as the theme I liked, it was an easy decision to join. But if Nevermore was the rose, it would need its thorns. I am, as the kids say, a PvP sweat, and as such, I signed up for Nevermore's pre-event tournament to decide who would lead the Nevermore military. I lost to Sidefall. Freaking Sidefall! Either way, I did well enough to become a Raven Knight, the elite PvP guardians of Nevermore. And with the two goals of protecting the budding nation of Nevermore and building my garden, I joined 1,000 players and logged on. I spawned in the middle of an iceberg field, thousands of blocks away from the nearest land, with only other lost players and polar bears to keep me company. Fortunately, one of the other Nevermore citizens found a massive tree and gave me coordinates for where to go. I reached the shore, and as I walked across the barren landscape, I began to realize I might be heading to the only tree on this entire damn island. As far as the eye could see, there was nothing but dirt, gravel, clay, and other blocks entirely opposed to a player's survival. Heck, even the in-game chat was calling us broke. It would be incredibly difficult for Nevermore to grow in this barren soil, but with luck, it might be able to survive long enough to grow as large as the lone tree, which, like I said, was massive. But as I arrived at the base of the tree, I began to wonder if this tree was as much of a blessing as it seemed. Around the roots, some players scavenged as much wood as they could, while others just stood there. They wouldn't react to anything, standing as still and as lifeless as the tree itself. The whole area gave me the creeps, so I hightailed back to the main island and started looking for somewhere a little less... I ran into some other Nevermore citizens and we all banded together, crossing the hostile mountains hungry and poor. On the other side laid a small valley where the rest of Nevermore had begun to set up base. Some of our members had gotten seeds from the main tree to plant our own forest, nourished by a stream flowing from the base of the volcano. Others had been mining, getting iron and stone for tools, while others yet had been farming to provide bread for the hungry. Nevermore had started to set its roots, and our home could now start to grow strong and healthy. It was time to uproot everything and move our base. The Nevermore High Council, led by a player called Tyrannical Rule, decided that the narrow valley we had settled in was not well suited for our nation's needs. Not only was there not much space for building the city we had planned, but the heat of the nearby volcano caused the water to boil and harm anyone who entered it. Also, the nation of Infernus had claimed the volcano as their home, and while we were on good terms with Infernus and quickly heading towards an alliance, it would probably be better if we based closer to our current allies, the Covenant and Al-Karasina. Why Infernus wanted to live around the dangers of an active volcano is anyone's guess, given that we only had one life, and if we died, we would be banned from the server permanently. Nevertheless, we packed up our things and headed south. When we arrived at our new home, we would face one of the first challenges of our new nation. You see, Nevermore functioned on an aristocratic meritocracy, which means that the nation was led by a council, who would elect a leader to serve as the diplomatic face of the nation, known as the Corvus. But this time, the council decided to open the election for Corvus to the entire nation.
Hello, everybody. I just lied through my teeth. You see how I did that? That is not what I'm gonna do if you elect me to be your Corvus.
Okay, I got this. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
It's never been done before in Nevermore, but I'm running for a second term. I think Nevermore, what we represent is we're a family, first and foremost. We're here to carry on the will of the people, and we're surrounded by talented people and, amazing friends. And, Nevermore couldn't be where it is without you guys. As we go forward, I want to hear from you guys.
I was hesitant on who to vote on. On the one hand, it would result in a much better balance of power if I were to elect another council member like Lampier. But on the other hand, Tyrannical had done a really good job leading the nation. I realized Tyrannical had proven himself as a good Corvus. Casting my support behind him, we ended the election with an official offer of friendship to the Infernus Empire, which they gladly accepted. The nations on the Poor Island were beginning to grow bonds with each other, which would help us all to survive and to prosper. On day 3, I went mining. I wish I could say that more had happened, but for the past 3 days, I had been searching for basic materials to survive and still had almost nothing.
You good, Kanuki? Oh, you're cooking iron.
Almost.
My bad.
Yeah, I want to make a chest plate. I've been waiting for the quartermasters to actually give us stuff, because apparently we're supposed to get the council members, but I keep seeing other random people just with armor, and I kind of just done with not having armor. I feel a little frustrated.
For what? What happened?
I just feel very unheard in this society. I'm a little frustrated with how Nevermore's been going. It feels like I can't really do what I want to, that nobody's really listening to me, that I don't really know what my place is here.
I mean, what do you want to do, Kanuki? You can at least talk to me about it. I can try to help you out.
Well, I made a build on the practice server, but everyone I've talked to is oh, that's not very good. But all the suggestions that they make to improve it, if they ever get around to making suggestions to improving it, just aren't the style I want to take the building.
If I give you a suggestion here, you might just want to build it outside the main area, aka once we start developing it all more.
It's a large build and it takes a lot of deep slate. I could probably do it if I saved all my materials for myself, but I'm a team player. I try and give materials to the team. I was hoping for a different experience, but I just feel like nobody's listening to me again.
We already know how everything's gonna go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pi has the epic build and the epic idea we're gonna have for Nevermore, you know?
But the communication leading up to it was just so bad, you know?
Yes, it's terrible.
But there wasn't really much I could say to change what would happen, given that I had no real leadership role in Nevermore. I also didn't want to cause any conflict, because given our hostile surroundings, our best bet for survival was unity. At the end of the day, the entire town gathered for a photo. And having all my friends gathered in one location, I realized why I kept working for no reward. It was for them. It was for their safety and growth, and I was proud in my role as a knight to protect them, even if it meant giving up the things I had worked all day for. At least my people were safe. While everybody had been talking, a group of Nevermore citizens had been fooling around with an outsider, and one of the Nevermore citizens was eliminated by a falling stalactite. The hooligans panicked and scattered. The outsider got away, but we were able to identify one of our own reckless citizens who had been present, a player by the name of Awesome Jet. I think we might have to take you in for questioning, Jet.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Since Jet wasn't directly responsible and the day was about to end, we decided to let him off with a warning this time. But I began to realize that Nevermore would have to face many more threats, just like this one. I was sick of mining. I could not do it anymore. And since Nevermore didn't really have any enemies to fight, I decided to change professions from knight for the day and I started to help build the inner walls of Nevermore. And you know what? This is the first time I actually enjoyed myself. Instead of worrying about getting what I wanted and doing whatever I wanted to do, I was contributing to a majestic build and getting to know the people of Nevermore. I met Rubbish Not Trash, one of the diplomats and builders, and we bonded as we worked away.
Is it supposed to be flesh like this?
No, I'm an idiot. Oh my god.
Look out, Rubbish. Rubbish.
Panuki?
Hmm?
Would you want to go up on the top and light it up?
Yeah, can I get some more torches?
The walls grew, and I still fulfilled my role as a knight when the sun went down, fighting off mobs for other players and making sure that they stayed safe. Ironically, I was able to do the two things I'd wanted to do going into the event: create something beautiful with my people and protect what we had made together. The bitterness I had before wilted away. It was almost as if my ambitions had been like a vine, constricting and preventing the flowering of doing what I loved. Once the walls were completed, I rewarded myself by chilling in a hot tub with the friends I'd found in my fellow citizens. How does a hot tub in Minecraft work, you ask? Remember the volcano and the boiling water? With very specific conditions, you were able to negate the damage and just enjoy the hot water. As the day came to an end, I thought this was a great way to relax and finish the day. But problems rarely wait for you to be ready before springing up like weeds, and this day was no exception. The outsider hooligan who had accidentally killed a Nevermore citizen, a player called Techno, returned to the city and was quickly captured by the Knights. Tyrannical began to interrogate Techno, but all the commotion had gathered a crowd of people who began to get rowdy. One citizen hit Techno, and Awesome Jet, eager to prove his innocence from before, crit Techno with an axe, killing him. However, this only got Jet in more trouble and arrested, since Tyrannical had repeatedly called for order and had never commanded that Techno be executed. And since Techno was a member of the nation of Westhelm, foreign tensions would begin to rise, threatening the unity we had worked so hard to achieve. If only we knew how much worse it could get. Tyrannical was able to soothe things over with Westhelm, but another problem was rising. See, large amounts of gold and netherite had been found under the island's volcano, which was great news for our island since it would make us the strongest island on the server. But there was a problem. The Empire of Infernus claimed the entire volcano as their territory, which included the minerals underneath it. Naturally, the rest of the island's nations were less than pleased about this, so the leaders called a diplomatic meeting at the humanitarian Blue Cross headquarters. Since Tyrannical was expected to attend, and since things were so tense lately, I was assigned to be one of Tyrannical's bodyguards for the day, which means I finally got some iron armor! As we arrived at the meeting hall was packed with members from every nation, showing just how large the island was, and how many people managed to carve out a life in this barren wasteland. The meeting began, and discussion, as expected, got about as hot as the volcano they were fighting over.
For Island 1's unity, I think, and I fully believe that it is necessary that we open up beneath the volcano for mining rights for everyone. Will you open up rights to mining underneath the volcano?
It is an adamant no from us. Again, we also, it is still our land, and it feels a little bit unfair to just have people be, mining where we live just because we, opportunistically happen to settle somewhere so bountiful.
I believe that Infernus should be the people in charge of managing who's getting to mine under their land, because again, it's still their land. We still respect that, so I think it's only good that Infernus could be choosing the representatives.
This is Island 1. We're all struggling against the nature and everything like that. So shouldn't we all be allowed to mine wherever we please?
Right. We started on this island with nothing, absolutely nothing. There was one tree that we all had to get everything you see around us. We only survived because none of us took control of the tree. We shared it. And this volcano is our answer to improving and going further.
There's two possibilities. One, we share this and we're able to fend off Island 2. Two, Island 2 comes and they take it for themselves. And I don't understand how you're going for this isolationist mentality of, you guys, you have to go through us, all of that kind of thing.
After this is all and over, if they say no, are you going to force them to open it anyways?
I just want to make it clear here. We have a representative from every single nation on this island. You have an opportunity here to unite us all.
We can't guarantee who's going to take action and make it no longer your land.
As I listened, I began to agree. There was another island on the server, and it was rumored that its islanders had stacks and stacks of diamonds and gold, meaning that if they were to attack us, we would be severely outgeared. However, after the meeting, Tyrannical had something very interesting to say.
And my problem is, as soon as it starts getting bad in there, everyone starts threatening them about how they're going to open the volcano anyways, and they preach like island unity, but the whole time they're just no better than Island 2. They're just going to come here and steal shit anyways.
I have to say, I had never thought of it that way, and I knew I had made the right decision when I voted for Tyrannical to lead us. Tyrannical then went to Infernus and told them that they would always have Nevermore's support. The alliance strengthened, we returned home. Despite the drama burning up on the island, Tyrannical knew that it was his time to step down. The council announced that the member moon, also known as Tuituji, had been decided as the new Corvus. But there was a rot from within Nevermore. Some citizens had grown upset with the aristocratic system that Nevermore had been founded on. They blamed Tyrannical for their feelings of discontent, even though by this point everyone had food to eat, armor to protect them, and plenty of materials for building. Most were content, but the very loud minority cried for democracy. I don't know if this is what caused Tyrannical to step down. I don't know if that's what caused him to build up to a dangerous height. And I don't know if that's why, minutes later, his body hit the ground. Nevermore felt empty. Without Tyrannical, it felt like our season of growth had stagnated and come to an end. I continued to build Nevermore, but everything seemed gray and lifeless. And that's when I made my fatal mistake. I genuinely don't know what happened. While using the Lightmatica mod, I lost my footing and fell to my death. No dramatic ending, just a slip, a fall, and a sudden stop at the end. After my death, Nevermore continued to fall. The leader of the Raven Knights, Sidefall, died to a warden he tried to tame. Awesome Jet was executed by the Corvus for his crimes, attempting to hold together some semblance of order and authority. But without Tyrannical's leadership skills, and with over half of the knights having died, the loud minority was able to overthrow the council and set up a democracy. And normally you'd think this would be a good thing. But the council was unable to lead, and citizens began to leave Nevermore. Nevermore was a ghost town. Not only that, but when Tyrannical died, so did the most outspoken defender of Infernus, and in the days to come, the entire server descended into war, although admittedly there were other factors. And yet, Nevermore could never truly die. The people of Nevermore survived, many of whom were my friends, and they went on to tell the story of our nation, and they remembered me. The nation I had fought to protect was not a place. It was a collection of people who, when they left Nevermore, took a bit of it, took a bit of me with them, much like how a dandelion scatters in the wind. I wasn't able to build my garden, but I was able to help grow something greater. And just as Nevermore didn't start with me, it didn't end with my death. When can a nation that is built on the foundation of its people truly die? Quoth the Raven, nevermore.